A world forged in conflict, claimed as homeland by the exiles, conquered as territory by the Dominion. There is only one whose words we can trust. Geeks of Nexus.
To Geeks of Nexus. This is episode number 11 for Sunday the 12th of July 2015. I'm your host Drakeass, and we have got an amazing show today for you. We have a special guest. I'll introduce first my co-host Sparky. Hello Sparky.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good.
The old man's still here.
You are, just barely. We'll get on to what you've been doing in a minute. But also joining us for this episode, we have Ellias Stormchaser, described on his Twitter profile as a musician, a gamer, an amateur blogger, and contributor on the Game On Wildstar Community Magazine. Hello, Ellias.
Hello, how's it going?
Very good.
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. Welcome to the show.
Yes.
So just to start off, what we normally do is kind of discuss what we've been doing this week in Wildstar, just a brief sort of rundown of what we've been doing. So, Sparky, what have you been doing this week in Wildstar?
Oh man, this week I posted it on Twitter, so some of the followers might know, but I had a big change.
Yep.
I changed it all up, Kim, and you're excited about this.
I am very excited about this.
It benefits Kim quite a lot.
Are you a trader now?
I'm not a trader, no, but I've changed my main character completely. I used to be a stalker, assault, and now I've changed, and I'm a tank.
Woo!
I'm a support focused. Yeah. Woo! We need a clap sounder, Kim.
Oh, a clap sounder.
Yeah, thank you.
Clap sounder here. I am very, very excited because I mainly play healer with my carry medic. So, you know, hopefully our queue times will be greatly reduced.
Yeah, that's the benefit to Kim.
Bit. So, have you tried out your tanking so far?
Yeah, I dived into a couple of adventures and they went really well. I did half a dungeon and then everyone quit because the last boss apparently was far too hard. They didn't even want to attempt it. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, it went really well. I don't think I caused any wipes. Like my health was staying up. I was keeping aggro. And it went really, really well. I felt right at home because, you know, I've been tanking through all the previous MMOs in the past. So I thought it's time to bring it to Wildstar too.
That's interesting. And you do love tanking. So I'm interested to know, it might be a bit too early for you to answer this, but sort of what the difference is between tanking here and other MMOs you've played on.
It's kind of strange here because it's really important positioning, you know, staying out of that poo we always talk about, the red stuff on the ground. And in previous MMOs, I've always been tapping really slightly on my keys, like really fast, jittery movements to stay just out of the corner of things. And on Wildstar, because of the roll, you can't actually do that. You can't do fast taps on the keys, otherwise you'll roll somewhere completely random and fall off a cliff and die. So you can't do that. So you have to do really controlled, smooth, large movements. And that's kind of it's tricky to get used to that.
Although, I think isn't there an option to switch between double tapping and
I should rebind it to Alt or something. That would really help, but I've been too lazy to do that.
That's all part of the learning process, though, isn't it? You see, you got to try these things out and give it a go. So, on that note, Ellias, what do you play in Wildstar? What's your sort of class and race and stuff?
I have two main characters I'm working on right now. Well, my main is a spellslinger, Orin. Mm-hmm. You guys are Dominion, was it?
No, we both have our spellslinger. No, I have a spellslinger. You have an Esper, don't you?
I have an Esper. Yeah.
So we do have alts as well that we're working on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My main is that mostly DPS. I tried healing in PvP once. That didn't go well at all.
I did it once.
I think I was alive for like at most 2 seconds each round, you know?
Yeah.
So mostly DPS, that's my main. I'm fairly casual, so I haven't really progressed, too much throughout the vet, dungeon content and all.
That's fine. This is a
those things,
casual
so-
podcast. There's no elitism here.
Yeah.
I don't even know what
I-
a dungeon is, man.
You do
That's
that.
good. Well, yeah, we'll be friends. Yeah. I have a second character. I'm trying to get him to 50. He's 47 right now. He's a Mordesh medic
Nearly
DPS.
there.
Yeah. So I just got to the point where I ran out of quests, and
That's annoying. That's
Oh, wow.
annoying.
Yeah.
even half a level is a big grind at that point. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to get him up to 50. So those are my two characters.
Are you liking the
Awesome.
medic? Because my main is a medic, and I really love the mechanics of the medic and how they play. Are you enjoying that on your?
Yeah, it's really unique, I find, because it's kind of like area of effect, but
Yeah.
kind of right in your face, That's,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
That's a really good way of
Slingers,
putting it. Yeah.
That's kind of a nice
Like-
description of Wildstar in general.
Spell slinger, you can keep your distance, and even occasionally I'll play Final Fantasy 14, and there I've been playing Summoner, which is a super range class. So I've been playing all these range classes, and medic is like sometimes I have to I misgauge how far I am, and I'll completely miss. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of
When you put those things on the floor, and it's like, oh, got it in the wrong place. You
Yeah.
just be a bit closer. Yeah, it's hard when you've been playing a range
for
class, isn't it?
for PvE. I basically just have my my AOE build, so everything's like right around me, so I'll just run around the mobs
Yeah,
and
just put it
have
on the
them stay in
floor and then
field,
keep them in it.
exactly,
Yeah, that's what I do as well. Yeah, you all stay there, and I'm gonna make sure you stay in it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Have you got any interesting
Awesome.
stories from your Wildstar this week, or is that kind of a good roundup already?
This week, again, I was trying to level up my medic, and someone mentioned I can run, what was that? Sword Maiden, regular, and, get the last few levels. But then I realized that's a level 50 dungeon, right? They're going to move it down to 45, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But so last night, 2 nights ago, I got a group together in our guild, and all right, let's do this. And then I couldn't get in the dungeon.
Oh, I didn't know.
So I hopped on my spellslinger, and we tried vet, but it was my first sword maiden, so it was tough. We only got part way through and then called it a night, but it was fun. Yeah, that's
Oh, I
awesome.
wish you luck in getting those last few levels, and fingers crossed. I haven't played Wildstar the last couple of days because I went on a hen do last night. I won't go too much
Oh,
into
yeah.
that. I did survive it, so it's fine. I don't know if they call them hen dos in America. But
I don't know what that is.
It's
Oh.
when someone is getting married, and
Okay, so bachelor party, bachelorette party.
yes, that's
Yeah.
it. That's exactly
Bachelor
it.
party, but for females.
Yeah,
That's
It's
bachelorette
just
party,
much louder
we call
and
it.
more obnoxious. Just don't worry about it.
It was one of them. So yeah, it was an interesting night. It was good.
Covering.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
before that, we did a bit of streaming, didn't we, this week, Sparky? You and me,
Yeah.
or you and I, should I say, to use the correct English.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I did learn something really interesting that I probably should have learnt before when we did what was it? What adventure were we on?
Oh, the snowy one.
The name, the name's gone from my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Something of
With
white
the
Bill.
robots.
That one. This is when we need to be on Twitch. So someone tells us in the chat.
yeah,
what we're
exactly,
talking- Something of
exactly.
White Mar. Anyway,
Crime Lords of White
that's
Bill.
it. Crime Lords of White Mar. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
We got
there you
there.
go.
And you were saying how at one point you couldn't see the red stuff on the floor, and I think it was Mini Stabber in the chat pointed out that you can change the colour of
Oh,
the
yeah.
enemy AOE.
Yeah.
The reds. Did you know this, Elias?
Yeah, I
See, everybody
changed
else
my
knew it apart from
yeah.
us.
I told you we're useless. We know nothing about this game.
Like I changed my my own color, to almost like translucent, so you can you kind of just see the outline, and then for allies, I'll have a certain color, and enemies I'll have a certain color kind of thing.
See, I don't know why I missed this. I need to spend more time looking in the options menu.
Yeah.
You don't
We
see
need to
it.
get on it, Kim. We're behind. We're slacking.
I know, I've got no idea how I missed that.
bad.
But thank you for letting us know, Mini Stabber. And those of you out there that don't
Start
know, go and have a look and change the
Yeah.
colour if you find it difficult. at any particular time, but there we are. So we're going to start this podcast off, if you don't mind, Ellias, with just a little bit of a Q&A with you.
Sure.
And sort of what your role is in the Wildstar community and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So you are a part of the Wildstar Community Magazine,
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Yep. Yes.
So tell us firstly a little bit about how you got into Wildstar, the game itself, and sort of why you stayed for the last year.
Yeah. So I've been I haven't really been into MMOs since I'm an old school MUD player. I don't know if you guys play MUDs.
Yeah.
You used to play MUDs. It's like, online kind of text-based MMO basically before graphical MMO started. So, I was really into that in high school and a little bit in college. And after I think I had my kind of WoW experience that everybody else has during that time. You kind of get hooked and you're on for 12 hours a day, whatever.
Yeah.
So after I left that, the MMOs didn't really appeal to me. I hopped on FF14 for a while, and kind of on and off. And I actually found out about Wildstar about a week before launch. I was just browsing. I think I was playing Dark Souls, and I'm a bad person, but I went on GameFAQs to see how to beat this first boss because I was dying. And then this Wildstar banner was up with a Chua. I'm like, what is this? Click. And then after that, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. So, ever since then, I've been, sometimes I play more, sometimes real life gets in the way. So, I don't have as much time to play, but I've been trying to keep up and, be involved as much as possible. Yeah.
So Wildstar is kind of your WoW then? It's like your very first sort of RPG.
Kind of FF14 kind of, but I think the one I'm really excited about, was Wildstar. Yeah. So
I think Sparky had the same experience with Dark Souls as well, so I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm pretty sure there's a few videos on the internet of me dying horribly to that game.
There are some YouTube videos to prove it. Yeah. So we've already kind of gone over your race and class, but what sort of style of play are you? Do you prefer PvE, PvP, or the sort of more community-focused events and casual play?
I'm mostly, doing PvE. I like the idea of the dungeons and raids. Of course, a lot of those are time commitments. So, hopefully, eventually, I can, fit that in. One of the things that drew me into Wildstar was the whole PvP aspect. They're still working on getting back, on their feet. But, a lot of my friends are into League. But, I like kind of like the permanence that you have in an MMO, right? And so you got this action combat in Wildstar, and if you can get into PvP in that, I'm like, oh my God, that would be awesome, So, yeah, of course, right now I'm horrible at PvP, so
Who isn't?
pretty bad at most of the things,
I'm pretty sure there's no one out there that's that great at Wildstar PvP right now.
No.
It's just chaos, pure chaos.
I know. The guys that I went against,
Pretty good. Yeah.
they knew what they were doing.
When they're coordinated, they'll wipe you out in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's fine. Just have a bit more practice, and you'll be there.
Exactly.
Just stick with it. I believe in you. You can do it, Ellias. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Just a little cheerleader bit there. I can put pom-poms and do that. Okay, awesome. So for those of you people that don't know, the Wildstar Community Magazine, can you tell us a little bit about the Wildstar Community Magazine and sort of how it got started, how you got involved with it?
Okay, so just as an intro, it's there's a UK-based online gaming magazine called GameOnMag.com. So they have their main magazine, which has, I think they sell ebook versions and digital editions. And then they also have a bunch of community-based magazines for different games, like World of Warcraft. Wildstar is a pretty recent one. War Thunder, I think they started recently. Smite, I think Smite might be one of their biggest community magazines with a big following. And so they have their own staff for the main magazine, and they kind of support with the the layout and putting it together, putting all the graphics together and the articles together. But everything else is basically community run. Me and a few other people, kind of try to scrape content together, write things if we feel inspired, interview people, podcasters and things like that. So it's a monthly format, and it's really cool. If you haven't checked it out, it's gameonmag.com, and you can find Wildstar in the drop-down menu there. So go check it out.
Awesome.
You're so looking ahead and seeing our questions before we ask it. It's awesome. I have looked at it. It's a lovely looking magazine. I'm actually very, very impressed.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that. I didn't know about Game On until I found out about Wildstar Community Magazine, and I'd be interested to find out about their other magazines as well. But it is very well put together and laid out.
I did. I'm going to go on a tangent here. I did during my studies. I did media studies at university, and literally one of our modules was to make a digital magazine. And so, looking at this digital magazine, the production quality is really good, because I can tell you from first-hand experience of trying to make it, I was useless. But this looks really good. It works really well. Like, you flip the page over, and then like the image brightens, and that's got a link to like what it's talking about. Yeah, it's really well done, man.
I think it's an opportunity for you to help out. Yeah?
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Improve on your magazine making.
Well, I just told you that I was really bad. So if you
gotta
you'd have to
practice, right?
teach me.
Practice makes
Oh,
perfect.
I'm not doing any of the layout stuff. It's the editor, and I wonder if they have any other help. But yeah, it's the staff from the Game On Mag who actually puts everything together. So
All right. I see.
I do more of trying to get the content,
More of
coordinating
the
between
editorial.
people, and finding stuff to put in the magazine.
It's all
that's
very
cool.
well written. The
Yeah,
whole thing.
it's really done.
I was reading the. I'm not sure who wrote it, but I think it was Sam. Somebody. The chewer one.
Yeah.
That was really, really good.
It was really good because it was written like a chewer would speak, and I was like, that's really clever and really imaginative. Love it. So, what is the general feel of the magazine? Is it sort of focused for casuals, a community, or more sort of elitist raiders?
It's pretty open, so again, it's pretty new. We only have like 9 issues, I believe, and it all depends on the contributors, the staff, even guest writers or interviewers, like whoever wants to put something in, whether on a regular basis or maybe once in a while they want to submit something. So sometimes we'll have guides, like earlier we had some housing guides, anything people can think of, fan fiction, so there's no specific what do you call it, target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So
Yes.
broad range, lots of things.
Yeah. Anything
Yeah.
and everything about Wildstar.
So if you want to write or showcase your artwork, have that creative itch, that we're waiting for you.
There's
right?
somewhere
Yeah.
to be exposed to the public.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Medium exposed.
And that's you, the listener.
Yes,
You right
yes,
now.
yes.
You, Brad, on the bus. I'm watching you.
Sparky will. I know what you're going to do anyway. After this podcast, you're going to go straight to that housing segment and have a look at that. You love your house.
Yeah. Ellias, I'm not sure if you have a segment yet on arranging knives and forks in Wildstar, but if you ever do, I'm your guy. Okay.
Well, if you're up for it, just write something, take some screenshots, and give it to us. We'll put
I
it on.
actually might. I might do that.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. Okay. Yeah, I've got some ideas.
So what I'm taking from this is it's a completely community-run magazine, and anybody can come and contribute as long as it's half decent. I'm guessing. or
Yeah,
at least has some kind of relevance to Wildstar, not just what you did last Tuesday down at the bike shed.
Yeah, anything Wildstar related. We do kind of try to proofread each other's work if if it's a written piece. So yeah, if you like to create stuff, and you're not already contributing to another creative site, then contact us. Right?
So if people want to get involved, if there's someone listening there right now thinking this is what I need to do, this is the outlet I need for my creativity, whether they're an artist and want to do some Wildstar artwork, or they want to do some writing, how can they get in contact with the magazine?
A couple ways. If you want, you can. I'm always on Twitter at Ellias ELLIASWS, Ellias WS for Wildstar. That's probably the easiest way to contact me. If you go in the actual magazine, there's always a page that is advertising for contributors. So there's a link there that will send you to a page where you can apply. You can do that, but I don't see that myself. So it may take some time if you do it that way. So one of those two ways, you can do. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And once again, where can people find the Wildstar Community Magazine?
GameOnMag.com, Game on MAG, all one word.com, and then you can see everything that they have, and there's a drop-down menu that says magazines, and Wildstar will be on there. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Like I said earlier, it is definitely worth a read because it is very well put together and very pretty and funny. Lots of informative information. It's pretty, it's a pretty really girly word to use.
Yeah.
Use a more manly word for our male listeners. It's a very
Epic.
epic.
It's kick-ass.
if you want to help with the look of the magazine, that's another thing you can do.
Yeah.
Anything.
All right.
Drawing,
Yeah.
sketching.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I might
Awesome.
have to have a go at
There you
that.
go.
You never know. Right, thank you. We're now going to move on to what little news there is in News of the Week.
Hey, paper, read all about it. Hey, Grano, hey, big bouncer, eat some of this nose over here. Hey, chewer, this broadsheet's bigger than you. hey, come on, guys, it's only 60 gold. Get back here.
News of the week.
So, News of the Week this week. Most of the news kind of came out a couple of weeks ago, and we've already spoken about it when we had the road to free-to-play and all the information coming out about what's going to happen when it goes free-to-play. But you might have noticed we had a patch a couple of days ago, and there was an interesting little note in the patch notes which some people may have picked up on, which was around customization of costumes, where it states, costume swapping is now limited to once every 15 seconds and may not be done while in combat due to a serious impact on performance.
I wonder why.
Why? For those of you that don't know, and I was going to say, oh dear, costume manager. Yeah. There is an app, a very, very popular app called Costume Manager, which has been allowing people to swap their costumes at will as many times as they like and how often they like. So literally they could go into an arena match or PvP match, and when they started in combat, they'd suddenly have a mask on their face, for example, or when they hit a specific move, their costume will change colour about 50 million times. That's pretty much been DDoSing the whole server and causing some performance issues. So if you have had some performance issues over the last couple of weeks, it may be down to Costume Manager. None of us have actually used it, have we? So none of us are culprits here.
No, we don't have any first-hand experience with this, but I just love this, how such an innocent feature can just, like, as a developer, Carbine must have never in their lives thought that a little app that changes someone's costume would crash their servers repeatedly. Like, it's just a train wreck, like, into a little child. Like, it's the most innocent, disgusting, like, it's horrible. But
imagine
I
one
just
of the developers sitting there going, what is causing this problem? I just don't know. What is it? And it's like, this guy's changed his costume like 50 million times in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
It's Banana Man 539 changing from claws to a great sword like 500 times a second. It's terrible, man.
So I did find that one quite funny.
That is pretty funny.
And especially the way they put it in there is due to a serious impact on performance. So you might find that the servers are running much smoother from here on in, hopefully. before someone else finds another way to completely crash the servers. So my sort of thoughts this week, or seeing as there isn't a lot of news pretty much, is to focus on giving some more information on the changes to stats that we've brought up. I don't know if it was the last podcast or the podcast before, when we'll talk about stat changes, changing of the names, etc. And there's an interesting article on Q Times that was written by Chestnut Stoneborough, who's basically done a nice little rundown of this. So with the Road to Free-to-Play 2, the live stream, Stephen Engel was on there, aka Meerkat, and after he did that he went on a Reddit Ask Me Anything sort of Q&A about Wildstar stat changes. And the rundown basically of that, he's given a lot of information on the changes. These, of course, I would like to point out as a, what's the word? A disclaimer. As a disclaimer,
Right.
These are subject to change before going live, subject to beta testing, etc., etc., and things not working properly, the mapping change a lot. So the first question that was put to him is, why is Carbine revamping the stat question? And Stephen's reply to that was that the current stat system is not intuitive enough, as being considered as a barrier to many entry-level players. Aside from the unconventional naming conventions like Moxie, stats weren't relative to the players from class to class. The team working with Stephen had initially thought that just renaming things to typical intelligence and dexterity, etc. However, they would then still have to change the relationships to each stat, or that each stat had to each class, for example, again, Moxie. So when asked why they couldn't just tweak current diminishing returns and make critical severity worth taking instead of completely overhauling everything, Stephen replied that tweaking DR would still allow primary stats that affect balancing in classes overall, which is one of the main issues that they were looking to address with these changes. So they've given a nice little rundown of what the stat changes are and how they'll affect your class. So the new stats that we can see are multi-hit, glance, critical mitigation, reflect, intensity and vigour, and he's described them as multi-hit is the chance to deal an additional damage, or he'll hit at a percentage of ability damaging dealt or healing given, so that's your kind of healing and DPS stat there. Glance, you'll need this one, Sparky, listen out.
This sounds good.
A chance to reduce the hit by X amount. No information on what X amount is going to be yet, but this is a tank specific class, so that's going to be similar to deflect, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much the soft cap on. Is it critical hit? No, that's the next one. Sorry. Yeah, this is just normal attacks, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is basically armor.
So critical mitigation then reduces the amount of bonus damage from incoming critical hits. This is coupled with a change to the combat formula and deflect crit, which will be discussed at a later date. But again, this is a tank specific stat.
Yeah.
Yay, tanks.
Yeah, tanks. That's a really important one. At least as it stands right now. I was told when I was doing all my research just last night, actually, about tanking.
told. Yeah.
I was told that critical mitigation is the most important stat. Apparently, as a tank, you should not be getting crit, because that is spiky health dropping that healers, Kim, don't like.
Don't like, no.
No, we don't like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that changes. But you can carry on, sorry.
The next one is reflect. Return a percentage of the damage received to the target that dealt it. So pretty simple. It reflects damage.
I like this.
Intensity increases outgoing healing, but also increases focus cost. For this reason, it will be the primary offered on gear at level 50. So basically, it intensifies things. See, it's simple, isn't it?
That would make sense, yeah.
Intensifies your healing, but also makes it more expensive. So there you go. Vigour increases outgoing damage that scales based on your current health percentage. The scaling of Vigour is still to be determined, as the team will be looking for feedback once it goes beta. And there's also, for our reference, there's a little original class stat, so you can see what it used to be like. Confusing. So will these changes make it easier for entry-level players, do you think? Ellias, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to make it easier?
Well, the secondary stats, I have no idea, until we see it implemented, right? And how easy it is to get one over another, secondary stat, and can we customize it at all, or all these things. So I don't know about that. the main revamp, I guess, kind of makes sense to simplify things. Although I did initially, I liked that the original idea, that how they implemented it, because I like the idea that I think one of the reasons was multiple classes could share the same exact armor piece, right? And it would do different things for different classes. So I did like that concept, but I do see that it is confusing. And on my spell slinger, I'll look at finesse. I don't think I even remember what the other things do,
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? I've heard a couple of people say that actually, that they like the idea of how they had it originally, or how they have it at the moment, and also the names. The fact that they've come up with original names, it makes it kind of unique to Wildstar as well. A lot of people are kind of upset about losing that, but everyone, I think, can also understand why they're going through these changes. What are your thoughts, Sparks?
I think it makes sense. I mean, at the moment, I do the same exact thing that Ellias said. When I see a piece that has insight on it and grit, I'm just like, okay, let me just scroll down and actually see what that means. Oh, it means deflect rating and health. That's what it actually means. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I need more deflect rating, so this armor's good. And so it's kind of just, in my mind, a useless step right now. Like, it's just a bit of flavor, but it's a bit of flavor that can sometimes get in the way of the gameplay. And the decisions you need to make as that need or greed timer is ticking down. So I quite like the changes that are coming. Just simplifying the names, I like that change. In terms of secondary stats, I think they're even more complicated. I don't like what they're doing to the secondary stats.
They're very specific, right? In each
they're
situation.
really specific. I mean, this is when they implement these secondary stats, that's when we're going to get to the point of the game where people start bringing out the spreadsheets, or they go on Google and go like, okay, Stalker 50 tank best secondary stats ? Enter. Okay, glance, multi-hit, and crit mitigation. Cool. So
some people could argue that's giving you, it could give you more options to make, more customize your character a little bit more.
Yeah. But stat.
If these stats could allow for different ability builds to be more valid, I think that would be interesting, right? Yeah. Instead of just one or two builds being the only kind of option.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that everyone has exactly the same build because that's the best one that someone's identified on a spreadsheet. It's nice to have a bit of diversity, isn't it?
It is nice to have the diversity, but I think that's a bit of a pipe dream. I think in MMOs that are as complicated as this, with these many abilities, these many classes, these many stats and gear and stat weights, there's always going to be a build which is just the best build.
Everyone
you can't get past it.
With a spreadsheet, that's what you're saying, isn't it?
Let's always follow the guy with the spreadsheet. He knows where he's going. He's got the map drawn on the back in Crayola, So, yeah, I mean, there's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
Right. That's it then, because we kind of already answered the next question that I wrote on there.
Is there another question?
Yeah, no, my next question was, do you think that
there you
providing
go.
these changes, more secondary stats, gives players more options to customise their character and how they play? It's in the show notes.
Oh, there you go.
But we've asked.
Yeah, I really do want to know whether how hard it is to get gear with different stats, or is it just like how it is now, where if they give you this much grit, that's all you have, and you can't really change that.
If there's any of the old reforging, like in WoW. Was it reforging?
Yeah, it was reforging.
Yeah, you could sort of swap, like, was that after your time? Yeah.
I haven't played.
He hasn't gone.
Oh, right.
Completely skipped WoW. I completely skipped it.
I was completely skipped it. Sorry, I thought you said you played the early bit.
No.
Oh, my bad.
I was listening.
Yeah, but there used to be that thing in WoW where, like, if you get a piece of gear, let's say it had like strength, stamina, and agility on it, and let's say agility was useless for you, you basically go up to this little sort of crafting bench thing, and you select agility, and you're like, okay, change this to say crit chance, and then suddenly that piece of gear, which was mediocre, is now perfect for you. So I quite liked that in WoW.
Which is already the runing system, right? That's already
that's pretty much the runing system.
And you've got a chance to change your ruin slot, haven't you? So I guess that's kind of like reforging with a little bit of Yeah, because they are going to when they reset the stats, they're basically could give us all these like ruin tokens, is what they've said, haven't they? So all your current ruins will be taken out of your gear, and you'll be given these little tokens. So you can go and basically spend them all again on whatever new ruins are going to
them back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have also said, and I didn't know that people did this, but apparently, because of the way the current system is at the moment, some people are wearing gear that isn't necessarily suited to them. So they might be wearing light armor when they should be wearing heavy armor, or medium armor when they should be wearing. Basically, to get the right stats, they're not worried about what type of armor it is, as long as it's got the right stats on them. So they're also getting rid of that, so you can only wear the gear that's specific to your class. So if you're a heavy armor wearer, you can only wear heavy armor.
Oh wow, really? That's pretty big. I like that though.
So they're doing a lot of changes really to gear and stats, and
Okay.
we can only wait and see. Sign up for the beta, go and play on the PTR, and then if it's not how you like it and you haven't played in the beta and you haven't had your say in it, then you can't moan about it, can you? It's a bit like people who don't vote in the general election and then complain about the politics that happens afterwards.
Yeah.
See, if you don't get involved, don't have your say, you can't whinge about it later.
And this is probably easier than politics.
Yes,
Getting your
much
voice heard.
easier, and not quite on the same level of, but still,
And a hell of a lot more interesting.
yeah, a lot more interesting indeed. So next up on our agenda is the law that everybody's been waiting for, and I think you're going to like this, Ellias. 'Cause I think you said you play a Mordesh, didn't you?
I do, and I actually, in the latest issue 9, I wrote my very first fan fiction, and that involves a Mordesh.
You see,
So,
it's like it's all fitting together, isn't it? Like a little cupcake.
It was our destiny.
It was. So this week's law of very final law, race law, is the story of the Mordesh.
My child, let me tell you of your story. Of your fathers and their fathers before them. But the final pages, they are for you to tell. The Mordesh, from planet Grismara, were once an elegant, blossoming civilization on the verge of joining the Dominion due to their great achievements in alchemy. However, when Victor Lazarin's Everlife elixir turned into the raving infection known as the Contagion, turning its victims into mindless savages, the Dominion turned on the Mordesh and trapped them on their planet with a quarantine blockade. Victor Lazarin hurried to redeem himself by creating the Vitalis Serum, which enabled many victims to stave off the effects of the disease. If not for this antidote, the Mordesh would no longer exist as a civilization. The survivors sought the aid of the rebel humans, and with their help, successfully smuggled many operatives and civilians out from Grismara. The Mordesh formed enclaves. They dedicated themselves to gathering intelligence for their new allies and developing medicines for the fleet, all while ceaselessly searching for a cure of their own. When news of Nexus was announced, the Mordesh joined the exile faction formed by the humans, hoping a solution could be found on the Elden planet. On Nexus, the Mordesh continued to lead their covert intelligence group, known as the Black Hoods, gladly taking up the fight against the Dominion through a campaign of misinformation, sabotage, poison, and assassination. Eager to avenge themselves on the Empire that turned against them in their hour of need. Did you fall down and die?
Oh god. Why would they even put that in the game? Carbine? I'm so angry I could just post on the forums!
Flames from the forums.
So, flames from the forums. We haven't found any flames from the forums this week. Everyone's been very nice. Even on Wildstar's Facebook page, it's, Ellias just told us apparently normally has lots of angry people on it. Even this
I would have
week.
thought so. I mean, I just tuned over to take a look, and no, people are saying they're looking forward to go free to play. They love the music in Wildstar. I don't know if this has been controlled heavily. It must be, because people aren't angry, and I don't
And
get
they're just
it.
going around deleting all the angry posts. Is that what's
Yeah.
happening? Trying to get
Yeah.
rid of the angry people.
There must be a great filter, and if there's any cuss words, it just gets blocked. Oh well, yeah, I'm not sure.
But I did find something interesting on the forums, and it's actually something that I've been keeping an eye on anyway, so I thought I'd bring it up. It's something from the community. It's a community event, well, not really an event, but a community-led thing. Chestnut, who we already mentioned earlier, she's been presenting a bi-weekly YouTube project where she spends half an hour to 45 minutes interviewing housing creators. So she basically finds people that have created amazing housing plots, goes along to their plot and interviews them in-house. So you get to hear the interview, see what they've created and sort of how they've created it, etc. She covers their inspirations, tips and tricks for newbie builders and how you can get in contact with them, kind of like our own Wildstar cribs, like they used to have on MTV. Bit like that.
Pimp yo house.
Yeah. Have you seen any of these, Ellias? Have you seen these yet?
I actually haven't. I feel bad. Sorry, Chestnut. No, it's because I'm housing is one of those things that's like way on the back burner, and I don't think I'll
Right.
ever get to for a long time.
Be
So
warned, if you watch this, you might suddenly get addicted. This might inspire Sparky a little bit. It's called
it's dangerous.
the Hardcore Nexus project. If you go along to the forums, go down to I think it's either on YouTube or community events. There's a link in there to it. You can also, she's looking for volunteers. So if you have an amazing house and you're on the NA servers and you want Chestnut to feature your house, she's looking for volunteers. Feel free to contact her either via the Wildstar forums or on Twitter, which is at @ggchestnut. That's GGCHESTNUT. Unfortunately, NA servers only, not EU. Although maybe she might.
You guys
she
can
might,
start a UE one.
yeah, or she could like I don't know. I can't say use our characters. That'd be really bad. But she could send us what questions she wants us to ask, and we could like go around on the EU server. I'm sure there's a way around it. We could work around it.
Yeah.
Sparky, is your house ready for this kind of intrusion?
I don't know. I've got a lot of knives and forks lying over the place. There's a couple of wheelbarrows round back, just full of them. I recently went to my house and I've got one of those mining plots, and I feel like such an idiot. I don't know why I'm like putting myself in this position, but for ages it wasn't creating any mining nodes. And I was like, what is going on? This is useless. And I suddenly remembered, like my mind pinged back to a year ago in 2014 when we were first playing this game. And I was like, oh, it breaks. I remember now. And I went on the Formation Grounds little plot thing and I had to fix it. And then it started, all the mining nodes came back. And I felt like such a moron.
Gotta keep
'Cause
your
I'd missed-
maintenance up, see?
I know, I'd missed out on so much loot.
Oh, dear, Sparky.
But yeah, that really bugs me. But that's my house right now. It's just a mining plot, knives
see,
and forks.
When I first created my house, and I did
Yeah.
that little video on YouTube, and we went on the podcast, and I showed everyone what my house looked like, and like, look at this, I created a
Yeah.
pub, and I created a cinema, and everything, and I thought it was amazing. I thought I'd done really, really well, and then I see what other people have created, and I'm like, my house is
Yeah.
rubbish. It's like
Yeah.
really bad. The things that people come up with are just amazing. Just the imagination that they have. Wasn't there? There was a housing article on Wildstar Community Magazine, wasn't there?
A while ago, there was one person. My mind's blanking. Yeah, but we had a couple issues where we had to kind of build your own fireplace. I'm so sorry. I forgot your name.
It's all right, Pastor. I put you on the spot there completely. It's what happens.
We could just dub it in later.
Yeah.
Although I haven't seen you on Twitter in a while, so that's probably why I forgot. So come on. Yeah.
Go find it.
Recently, nobody's been coming up with housing articles. So if you like to make housing stuff and show other people how to do it, reach out.
See?
Once again, community, it falls down to you.
Yeah, we need this content, people.
Uncle Sam needs you.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Nice.
Moving on.
In 300 yards, turn right.
No. I know a shortcut up here.
Please turn around when possible.
No, I know this way is
I'm
faster.
an advanced GPS-stabilizing quantum-powered universal guidance system with bonus sarcasm and condescending modules built in, you lumbering oaf. Please follow the damn directions or face destruction.
These add-ons are starting to piss me off.
So this week's add-on of the week is Forge UI. Are either of you using Forge UI?
I used it for a time. Right now, I think I had some issues with it. I don't know if it was with Forge UI or if it was something else, but I kind of reset to the default for a while. I liked it for the time I used it. Right now, I'm on Corona UI, I believe. And it's a lot of these UIs kind of really streamline the interface, so it's easier to see things where you need them to be, and so
Well, Forge UI is currently in beta at the moment, so that might have been why you had a few issues, because they have bugs which they're ironing out. I've been using it over the last couple of weeks, haven't had any issues yet, but maybe. But at the moment it's working fine. So Forge UI is a Wildstar UI. You can't even speak now. UI overhaul. It's completely modular, so you don't have to use everything. You only require the Forge UI add-on, and it's actually really simple. Once you install it from Curse, it's pretty much ready to use, which is a nice change from a lot of other UI add-ons where you have to kind of set it all up before you can use it. So the minute you install it, it's up and ready. And if you want to customize anything, just type /Forge UI. And then you can go and create away, move things around, etc, etc. It's also optimized. Forge UI requires about half the resources that the stock UI does, so it'd be less intensive for
that's
you.
nice.
And customization, currently there is a decent amount of customization, but that amount will be increasing in the future. So as I say, it's currently in beta, very, very recently updated, so it's one of those apps that is currently being updated, hasn't been left for a couple of months or anything else. So if you do want to change your current UI, which some people think is a bit clunky, if you don't like it, want to streamline it a little bit, try Forge UI out. What was the add-on that you used for your UI, did you say?
Corona UI. Corona, I don't know, I guess that's the name of the person making it, but they have a bunch of useful add-ons. Corona bags, Corona, I think they have a pets add-on that they recently made.
Nice.
So you can check those out too. For Forge, I don't remember. It's been a while, but there might be, a menu option in the side to open up the customization window.
Yeah, if you go
it's
into
possible.
Escape, I think you can go through that way as well.
Yeah.
Go through the menu. Okay, I'll have a look at that one as well. I love UI add-ons. It's one of my things with WoW as well.
They're really nice, aren't they? I'm in that boat. I'm still using the default, classic splash. I need to switch it up because you're right, Kim. It's just not on point.
And the casting bars. We were saying the other week, the casting bars in the wrong place in the normal UI.
Yeah, exactly. On this new tank spec that I'm doing, my main ability is a cast that lasts 2 seconds. It shreds 3 targets in front of me and generates a big amount of aggro. And so my main ability right now is a cast. And I can't tell when it's starting and ending, in between my spells. I'll be trying to use a cast and then chuck in a quick instant and then go back to the casting. But I'll realize as I'm doing my second cast that I never used that instant because like maybe I pressed it like a second too earlier or too late. So I'm going to dive on after this and get Forge UI. Yeah, and then I'll be able to tell you about it next week.
I never understand how this happens with every MMO. That whatever UI they come up with, people generally, like the majority of people, don't like it or don't find it very functional. So go out and find their own UI that they can change everything by.
You can always make things better, and if you give the tools to make it better, then people will. So
I'm trying to remember, there was an MMO. It might have been Star Wars: The Old Republic. I could be wrong, but I think it was Star Wars, where they actually gave you the ability to be able to change the UI yourself, or at least move things around a little bit.
It was modular from the outset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FF14 is similar. You can move anything in the UI element anywhere. Yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah, I think that should come as standard, really.
Because then people can customize it and have it how they like, and then you haven't got to worry about add-ons. It's all in-house. Right, our last feature.
Hey.
Hey, you've reached Geeks of Nexus. Unfortunately, Twitter's carrier pigeons were lost at Alicia Sea or something, so, leave a message after the tone. Bye.
So this week's tweet of the week, I said it without messing up.
You managed to pronounce it.
I managed to pronounce
Tweets of the week.
Eventually.
What did you say last time? I don't remember.
It always goes wrong. It just
turrets of the birds.
It's too many T's and W's and stuff and E's in it. So, eventually, I'll be able to say it every week without even mentioning the fact I've got it right. But this week's tweet of the week comes from Jason Vincent, who's one of our regular tweeters. We do love him lots. He said, at Geeks of Nexus, recently another player asked me what I thought of Carbine. I think they are good folks trying to do the right by their customers. What do you think? #AskGON. So, this is one of those questions that people ask about developers and companies and whether we like them or not and they're doing the right thing. Sparky, what are your thoughts on Carbine generally?
This is one of those questions you have to tiptoe around. I think they've done, the first thing I want to say is I think they've done a great job so far. I think this has been a recurring theme. I should bring this up. I think as a company and as developers, when they're making this game, when they're creating new drops and new expansion packs and stuff and developing on the products that they've already got, they need to listen more to the past and learn from other MMOs' mistakes. We've said this like a number of times throughout the podcasts before. I think we were saying it sort of before the game was released. Mm-hmm. We were wondering whether or not they would sort of heed the mistakes of previous MMOs, and they kind of didn't. They kind of dived into it and said, nah, we'll do it right. We can be better than all the others. We've got it all set up. Don't worry, we got this. And they still fell in the same pit holes and mistakes, and it was a rocky journey, and that's why they lost a lot of subs. That's why now I think they have to go to a free-to-play model. So, yeah, I think they need to... They're a good company with good intentions. They got a great game, good sense of humour. They just need to reflect more on the past.
I think it's one of those... they're doing the right things by people now, and they're listening to people and making the changes that people want, which is always a good thing, and that's what you want from a company. They're not just blanking people's thoughts. They're like, no, we are listening to you, we are making these changes, we are doing it, which is good. I think it's one of those Catch-22 situations where they probably started out listening to people, and this is going to be a bit hard to explain now, but MMO players sometimes know best, but don't always know best. And what I mean by this is, take 40-man raids, for example, right? Yeah. You might see where I'm going with this, but World of Warcraft had 40-man raids and took them away for a reason. They didn't work particularly well. They were really hard for people to organise, but once they were gone, the MMO players had this kind of angelic view of them. They were like this amazing thing from the past that everybody loved. When they were there, they hated it. But when it wasn't there, they're like, that was amazing. Why can't we have that back? So Carbine were like, we'll give you what you want. We will give you 40 man-maids. We will let you have this thing. And then they let them have it, and then they're like, this really isn't working. It's like really not working.
Well, it's those rose-tinted glasses, isn't it? And Carbine came along and say, hey, I got some shiny rose-tinted glasses. You want to try these on for size, baby? Yeah.
But this is where This is where that doesn't really make sense when I then say that now they're listening to players and making the right changes. But you know what I kind of mean by that. There are certain things where you kind of go, no, like that developer realised that wasn't working. So no matter what people say, we're not going to do it because it didn't work. But then there are certain things within the game that we have to change because, you know, the quality of life changes and things like that. Does that make sense? Or am I just sounding like an idiot?
Yeah. I think that you know, before the game launched, you know, they probably had this idea, you know, this ideal they wanted to reach, right?
Yeah.
You know, do all these things that, you know, MMO players want. Let's you know, really give it to them. But then, you know, once it launched, you know, it didn't work out. So now it's at a point where, you know, they probably know, you know, they can't think like that anymore, right? You know, so I feel like, you know, they have their minds in the right place, and, you know, I get a sense that they really care about, you know, the game and the community. So I'm, you know, looking forward to the future.
Exactly, and that's the thing I have noticed. They are really engaging in the community, whether that's through the live streams or you know, talking to people in the community. They are getting involved. They're always, you know, watching streams and going on podcasts and things like that. So, you know, they are wanting to talk to people and listen to people, and that's always nice to see from a developer, isn't it? They're not just some person locked on some ivory tower somewhere that's not listening to us. That's nice. So,
Gabe.
Overall, I think we've all come to the conclusion that they've got their hearts in the right place.
Yeah. Aww. Isn't that nice?
So don't forget, people, if you have a question for us or something that you would like us to talk about on the show, then tweet us with the hashtag AskGON. That's AskGON, and we will ask the question as long as it's, you know, reasonably relevant and clean. The funnier the better, the more likely we are to put it on if it's reasonably funny or a nice topic to talk about. Then tweet us. We are at Geeks of Nexus and hashtag AskGON. So that is that for the podcast.
Yay!
You keep saying yay, like you haven't enjoyed it being here.
Yay.
Alright, well,
Go back and play.
that is it for the podcast. That has been episode number 11. Thank you very much, Ellias, for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on.
He's got some news about his magazine.
Can I make that? Can I make that? Max?
Oh, yes, that announcement. See, we should
There's a statement coming out.
forgot about that statement. Now's a good time to do it. What
Yeah,
is your statement, Ellias?
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to leave it till, you know, I didn't want to kind of include it with all the rest of the magazine stuff, but just a public service announcement, you know, for our loyal, you know, readers. We are going on hiatus for a couple months because of, you know, all of us we're real people, if you believe it, you know. So
things to do.
Yeah, we have a lot of on our plates. So we're gonna take a little break, and we're hoping to come back along with the free-to-play launch, right?
Awesome.
So along with that, but still, that doesn't change anything, right? If you want to contribute, contact me now, you know, as soon as you listen to this, or go to the magazines, read the previous issues. If you like it, or if you think you can help make it better, right? Contact us. At Ellias WS or straight in the magazine. There's a link. So I encourage you, please do that. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I was going to say that's a good thing to do whilst you're on this little break, is go back, read the magazines, get a feel for it, and then if anyone wants to contribute, you know, get a Word document together, start working on it, and then as soon as free to play comes out, get in contact, and boom, you know, come back with the fury.
We can even line up, you know, things, get ready, so we can launch it right away. Yeah,
Get
that's
ready
awesome.
Prepare. Yeah, that's very, very very good. Enjoy your few weeks off or few months off. Recover and recuperate. Enjoy the summer and all that.
Yes.
So we have been Geeks of Nexus. You can find us on our website, which is epicgeeks.co.uk, because we are part of the Epic Geeks network. You can find us on Twitter at Geeks of Nexus, or you can email us at geeksofnexus@gmail.com. Sparky, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at epicdarksparky.
And you can find me on Twitter at Drakeass. Thank you all very much for listening. Thank you, Ellias, for joining us. You've all been
Yeah,
wonderful.
thank you, man.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Epic Geeks network. To find out more about our other gaming podcasts, head to epicgeeks.co.uk.